Two middle-aged guys try to work it all out. Two middle-aged guys try to work it all out. Two middle-aged guys try to work it all out.
Well, Chris, the Christmas season is upon us. Why, your name and Christmas.
it's like it was meant to be.
I know. It's the Chris season. I think they named it after someone else.
I'm going to say I don't want any part of that. So we'll celebrate Christmas.
Yes. Chris is not the reason for the season.
No.
But this time of year, I always want to think back on, those happy memories when we were a kid and hanging out at your house or hanging out at my house or just, stuff we did on our own. Do you have any you want to share with our TMAG listeners? And we do have the headsets on.
We do, absolutely.
And we are in the studio.
That's right. It's the first time that, it's about the first time that they're getting to see us in real life.
Real life.
That's exciting. And this episode is going to be something special. So we thought, let's videotape it. Let's throw it up on YouTube.
That's right.
So if you're listening through the podcast feed, hey, go check us out on YouTube. You get to see what our faces look like. And then you'll never check us out on YouTube again.
That's right.
But yeah, for Christmas memories, I have one story that anytime anyone asks me for a Christmas story, this is what comes into my mind because I think it perfectly encapsulates my relationship with my mother, and I absolutely mean that in a positive way. And it's just one of those times where I felt like so ridiculously silly that it's just cemented in my mind. But I was little, like probably 6, 7 years old, something like that. And like all parents do, when it was Christmas time, we had the tree in the house and all the presents scattered around it. And, they had my name on it. And some of them had my dad's name on it. Some of them had my mom's name on it. And I was just so excited for Christmas. And you couldn't wait for it. And there was this one package that was maybe 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And it was really, really heavy. And I was obsessed with what is this present?
Is this the One Ring?
I had no idea. Yeah. I was like, what? Something this small.
Did you put it in the fire?
I did not.
Okay.
Not at least until I opened it. But it was just so small, but so heavy. I could not imagine what this was. And so for weeks leading up to Christmas, three, maybe even 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, I pestered my mother incessantly. What is this? Let me open it. This is the early present I want to open. And we did the tradition where on Christmas Eve, you could pick one gift. And I picked that one because I couldn't wait. Mom said, no, that one is off limits. You've got to open that one Christmas morning because she knew I'd been anticipating it this whole time. And so I was mad. I was like, I want to know what the present is so bad. And so I picked a different present. I opened it. And it was
garbage.
Because it didn't matter. It wasn't that one present. It wasn't
the One Ring. I'm confident. The story doesn't end with you disappearing, putting on the ring. I'm going to be disappointed.
Well, hang on.
Okay.
So my mom knew I had this anticipation and she totally was playing into that anticipation. No, that one you cannot choose on Christmas Eve. You've got to open that one Christmas morning. So Christmas morning came and I was up before everybody else in the house and I was, I had that present in my hand. And by this time the paper had been all worn from how much I'd messed with it. And, it was just, I couldn't wait to find out what this tiny, tiny, but heavy object was. And so as my memory recounts it, we all gathered around and Mom set us down and so she was like, okay, it's Christmas morning. It's now time to open presents. Go ahead. And I ripped the paper off of this thing and it was AA batteries.
Oh my gosh.
For a different present that I was opening that Christmas. And so my mother knew that
were they rechargeable?
No.
Oh.
Duracell.
Oh my goodness.
Copper tops. But she had cut the extra cardboard off so that it would just be this perfect rectangle. Well, I don't think it started to trick me.
But at some point she had noticed
yes.
that you were so interested in it that, well, I want to see this play out.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
And my mother. So that's very much like
very good. Very funny story.
Yes. And that's a very strong Christmas memory and a happy one. Like I said, there's do not feel sorry for me. It was well played by my mother, and I
you powered something. I mean, that powered a Game Boy for 15, 20 minutes. Probably.
Well, no, Mom wouldn't let me have a Game Boy.
Oh, that's right.
So. But I powered something. You're absolutely right. That might have been the year I got a remote control car.
Oh, well, that lasted 20 minutes.
Exactly.
As most kids' toys do.
Right, but it was super fun. So that's my Christmas
That is a great Christmas story. Well, you know what I think of Christmas, preparing for Christmas. For me, It wasn't really about just December or the week before Christmas. All year long, I was always that build up to the visit to Santa Claus.
Oh yeah.
There's preparation, the anticipation, study, just getting ready for that jolly old man's questions.
You mean, have you been a good boy?
Oh, no. It was more like this. What year did Roger Maris hit 61 home runs? It's easy to remember. 1961. 61, right? Get it? 1961. It's how you remember things.
Yeah, I get it. But what does that have to do with Christmas?
Oh, wait, no, see, listen. What Apollo 11 astronaut didn't get to walk on the moon? It was Michael Collins. Oh, you'll understand soon. Every year I studied, memorized and crammed to be prepared for my visit to the jolly fat man. He'd quiz me on history, pop culture, and sports. And he judged my Christmas spirit by my trivia reports. Santa's questions were hard, but true. And if you got the questions right, it would bring out the Christmas spirit in you. What TV series launched Bruce Willis's career? Moonlighting. What song did Carl Douglas put inside your ear? Kung Fu Fighting. Every year, it got harder. The challenges grew, but I kept up with him. I only missed a few. One year, when I was 11, I got 9 out of 10 right.
Did you get a better present for that?
Yeah, that year I got a lawn chair and a Bible. It was pretty sweet. It should have been 10 out of 10. He threw in a football question. Santa knows I'm weak on football. That was a jerk move from a supposed saint. And then, when I was 18, he said that I was done. I'm a man now, and I should use my trivia to make others look dumb. Santa's questions, they were hard, but they were true. And if you got them right, well, I guess it brought the Christmas spirit out in you.
Are you telling me that you went to a Santa and he drilled you with trivia questions, and based on how well you performed at the trivia, that affected your Christmas present?
Yeah, I literally just sang a song about it. Also, I wouldn't use the word drill around Santa.
Fair. All right, but we went to the same mall.
Oh, mall? No. We saw Santa at Kmart. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Two middle-aged guys trying to work it all out. You heard Chris and I talking a little bit before. Now we've brought our friends Larry and Anthony from the Retro Gamers podcast in to help us celebrate Christmas. Larry and Anthony, why don't you introduce yourselves?
What's going on, world? Yes, Larry here.
And Anthony here.
We'll do our little, that's our intro. That's the extent of our intro.
As far as we go. We don't have the mental capacity to go beyond that.
Very happy to be back, though. We had such a blast last time.
Yes.
We're only expecting much more this time around. But happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, ho, ho, ho. Right, Larry?
And who's that in your lap?
My listeners know because they see him all the time. This is Link. Link loves to jump on my lap as soon as I start recording anything. That's his time for attention. So he'll be my partner for the episode.
You've got good help.
As long as the answers are meow, 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 I'm all good.
Well, that's good because I do have a cat food. Meow Mix is the answer to everything. So
Perfect.
Get it? Perfect.
Uh-huh.
Well, Chris, are you ready to do this?
Let's do it, Dave. Let's do some trivia.
So before we do that, though, you and I got to share our Christmas stories. Larry, do you have a Christmas story you want to share with our listeners?
I actually do. I have a, and it's actually a fairly, I wouldn't say uplifting, but to me, it always brings a smile to my face when I think about this. And it's the moment in my life where I really, truly, and to this day, and I'm 100% honest when I say this, that I believe in the spirit of Christmas, the spirit of Santa Claus. And it all started when I was like 10 or 11. And, I hate to, hopefully, I don't know if any children listening right now, but, that's kind of the time in my life when I was kind of being told things weren't necessarily all that, we were told growing up as kids when it comes to Christmas and it comes to Santa Claus. So I was kind of having a rough go that year. I'm like, oh, okay. So the truth has come out about Santa. And going into that year's Christmas, I remember there was a catalog. I don't know if it was necessarily a JCPenney catalog. That's what it was. It was a JCPenney Christmas catalog, that thick catalog we get every year. And I thumbed through it every year. I wasn't allowed to talk about Christmas or Christmas gifts until December 1st. I was always told that, or I'm like, you're not getting anything. I'm like, okay, fair enough. So I'm thumbing through, and I always go to the video game section or like the wrestling section with the wrestling figures and everything. But one year I eyed this toy. It was like a teaching set. It was weird, nothing fancy, nothing major, but it was a teaching set. Came with like some pens, pads, like a little chalkboard, all this stuff. And in my head, I always kept going back to it. I'm like, oh, I'd really love that. But I never mentioned it. I never circled it. I never dog-eared the page. Nothing like that. And then, Christmas comes and I'm going through, opening all the gifts, realizing how they got under the tree now. And then ironically, the last gift I got that year, I open it up and it's this Christmas set. I mean, the teacher set. And I'm like my head almost exploded because, again, I never tipped off to my parents. And at that moment, I'm like, you know what? I think there's more to the Christmas season than just someone coming around to every house, going down the chimney and delivering. And I truly, truly believe that parents all over the world have this sense when it comes to Christmas that they have the spirit of Santa Claus. And I've always kept that with me that's why I love the season of Christmas, because it's the magical time of the year. And parents, to me, always has that something in the back of their head that kind of lets them be Santa for their children. I don't have any kids myself. I always feel like if I did have kids, like to experience what that might truly be. And every Christmas, me and my parents always mention that, always talk about it. And this year, it just so happens the next door neighbor at my parents' house had a kid. It was like 2 years old. And my mom was going through a catalog and she decided to get him a little teacher's set. Almost looks like the one that I got all those years ago. So it's almost like kind of like continuing this tradition, if you will. But it truly makes me believe that there is a spirit of Santa Claus, and that even in my darkest days around the holiday, and I don't mean like darkest days, I just mean like when I'm down and, work's been tough and everything. I just think about that and I'm like, you know what? There still is some joy in this world. And even experiencing that when I was like 9 or 10 up until now at 43, it kind of keeps me going. And it always brings a smile to my face whenever I think about that and knowing that, to me, it's true.
That is a great story.
That's way better than our story.
Yeah. But now I'm a little concerned that an ancient spirit it lives inside of me. The spirit of Santa, and I hope that he's just not mean too.
Well, no, it's not Krampus. It's Santa.
Yeah.
And and to me, I always thought about it in a way too, because like with my cousins, like my godson, just recently, like a couple years ago, like he got to talking about that, but he's got a little brother. I'm always worried, like when I go over to celebrate, when I talk to his little brother, like, oh, what did Santa get you? Like, I don't want him dropping the bomb. Oh, guess what? Guess who actually puts the Christmas on the trees? But if they ask me, like, I can 100% tell them, like I'm telling you guys now, I believe in the spirit of Santa Claus. And, hopefully that would kind of keep everything going for the kids. I don't know. They're smarter than I am. But it puts a smile on my face. So, and it's really probably one of the few stories I have that's uplifting for around Christmas. That's not me destroying stuff by accident. So I figured it'd be fitting for you guys to get that story.
That is a great story. Anthony, what do you got?
Well, I don't know. It's going to be hard for me to top that that Hallmark Christmas story over there. But here comes a Lifetime one. No, so Chris, there are two that popped in my head, and the one I want to tell is not well. It is directly related to me, but it's more about family, and around the holidays, what better thing to do than to talk about a family memory? So I'm going to sell out my family a little bit for this story. So I remember, I don't remember how old necessarily I was. I was probably around the same age, Larry's story. I was around like maybe 9 or 10 years old, probably 10. But I remember going to the shopping mall by us in Brooklyn. Shopping mall's name was King's Plaza. Larry knows it well. And I was
well.
Yes, and I was with my mom, and we were shopping, and she was looking for, now naturally because I was there, she wasn't looking for gifts for me, but she was looking for a gift for my older sister. My older sister at the time was obsessed with New Kids on the Block. New Kids on the Block were relatively new at that time, but they had blown up, and they had merch everywhere. Like, you name it, they made it. And so
the big buttons,
the big buttons, the dolls, like all kinds of weird stuff, yep. Right? All kinds of crazy stuff. In fact, my sister in her bedroom had the life-size cardboard cutout of them. Like that's how obsessed she was with New Kids on the Block. So we were at King's Plaza, and my mom had been hunting down this weird stencil set. So it was, do you remember the stencil sets where it was like you got the little, it was like a stencil dress up set. So in other words, it was a board and you had different stencils of like the head and the body with different clothes on them. And you put the piece of paper over and you'd stencil over it. So you make like a different outfit. So they had a New Kids on the Block version of this because why not? I don't know. So anyway, and my mom had been trying to track it down, like it was like the Cabbage Patch Kid of that year, So she couldn't find it anywhere. And we happened to be in the mall, and we went into a KB Toys, one of the main toy stores of the 80s that we remember.
Yep.
And so we go down the aisle, and we're looking at a bunch of toys. That stencil set's not there, but my mom starts like going through the shelves, like, because sometimes people will hide stuff behind things or it gets all mixed up. Lo and behold, in the very back of a shelf, there's one New Kids on the Block stencil set. So it's like, all right, pay dirt. She grabs it. Then she looks at how much it costs, and she's like, She just looks at it and she's like, I'm not paying. She's like, I don't know if it was like 40 or 50. It was some insane amount because it was New Kids on the Block. And she's like, I'm not paying for that. So then she decides to take another stencil set that's there, which was like half the price. So she swapped the prices. Now back then, this stuff wasn't all in the computer. It was, they would just ring up what they saw on the box. So she decided to be a little sneaky and switch the prices. So we get in line, and the line's like, I don't know, 10 or 12 people deep. So we wait like 15, 20 minutes online, and we get up to the register, and the woman at the register must have been waiting the entire time to do this. But she literally just looked at my mother and started yelling at her in the store saying, I saw you change the price on that box. Get out of my store.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So
welcome to Brooklyn, folks.
Yeah. So a nice 5-minute exchange continued that I won't get into the colorful detail on that. With a store full of shoppers, no less.
Of course. Why? Yeah.
So anyway, we get escorted out of the store. I would love to say that was the end of it, but no. So we get outside the store, and then my mom turns to me, 10 years old. She hands me $30, and she's like, "Go back in the store and get it. She didn't see you."
Wow. Yes.
At which point, now granted, this is New Kids on the Block. Yeah. I hated New Kids on the Block because my sister would not stop playing them. It was the most obnoxious thing in the world. So I literally just looked at my mother and I said no, and I walked away.
Defiant. I will not buy NKOTB merchandise.
Yes. My sister did not get the stencil set.
Wow.
Christmas.
Oh, man. So your mother did not have the spirit of Santa Claus in her.
Now, that sounded like that clerk. Was that KB herself?
Yeah,
That had like a high degree of ownership over the store.
That must have been KB. It was wild. I had never seen something like that. And not only that, but like she knew my mom was in line that whole time, and she was just waiting for that moment. And I'm like, wow. I go, like in my head now as an adult, I'm like, wow, you must have led a very sad life, because that was your big vindication for the holiday season. So I was like,
you should have went to Circus World, because they encourage behavior like that at Circus World.
See,
they didn't care.
If only we had a
Nick
Circus
Nolte
World.
behind the register wouldn't mind it if you want to swap out the prices. You go right ahead. You do what you need to do.
No, instead we had a wild store near us named Red's, where the the guy in charge, whose name was Red.
Yep.
He would literally just make up prices,
like
in front of your face,
you.
right in front of your face. Like if he knew, like I remember the pink Power Ranger incident with my nephew, not my nephew, my cousin, trying to track that down in the 90s. Mm-hmm. He was the only one who had them, and he would literally look at you in your face, and he'd be like, $200.
Yeah, it was insane.
Just, whatever.
Like, me and Ann can be online behind each other buying the exact same toy, because that's the only place I found, like, those 6-inch WWE figures.
Mm-hmm.
The old plastic ones, LJN ones. And, like, he would be like, $20 for you, $45. Like, what? Yeah. It was. I think my parents had an incident with him, but I can't remember what it was.
My mom had an incident with him, too.
Oh, man. We should do a Reds episode now.
That was, that was over, I think that was a Cabbage Patch incident.
Wow, that's a great story. And yeah, I would love for you guys to do a Reds incident. We had our own little, we had a baseball card comic book shop ran by a man named George, who would just make up prices. And he would also ask you how much money you had on you as a way to, like, how much you got on you. Like $12. Well, that's probably not enough for this, but I'll sell you this for $12. And
if you're smart enough as a kid, you turn around, they'd be, how much do you have on you? I don't know. How much is it?
Yeah, we weren't that smart.
No,
we'd always spill how much we had, and so then whatever product we brought into trade, it was always, well, this and the $12 in your pocket.
Yep,
of course. Well, that's how Larry and I, used to get rung up by Funkoland, right?
Yes. Right now, all the listeners are like, now we know the world of difference between Brooklyn, New York, and the way you guys live in the middle of the country, where everyone's nice most of the time.
Well, George was from New York, actually. That was his big thing. He had a baseball card shop in New York, and he came and opened a baseball card shop in the Midwest. So
he probably knew.
He brought that attitude with him.
Awesome.
It's a whole conspiracy.
Well, guys, I want to jump right into the trivia question. So how we are expressing our Christmas cheer this year is through a trivia tournament with Chris, Larry, and Anthony all competing to see who's going to be the winner of the first annual two middle-aged guys trying to work it all out Trivia Extravaganza. We have 3 main rounds and then one sort of at the end more difficult round to add some extra points. So the 3 main rounds are going to be television, movies, and then obviously with our friends from the Retro Gamers on, we're going to do retro video game trivia.
All right.
And I think that we have some that are pretty easy throughout, and we have some really difficult ones. I think we'll find out, right? As I put it together, I hand built the questions. I didn't just grab a pre-built trivia thing. I went through and put them together and assigned them to individuals based on who I thought would be the best for the question. I was trying to make sure it wasn't too hard or too easy, so we'll see. I hope I didn't make it. I hope I made it fun. That's what I hope I did.
Oh, no matter what, it's going to be a blast.
I think so. Well, we're going to start with the first category is television, and the sequence is Chris, Larry, Anthony. And because we don't have buzzers or anything fancy like that, we're just going to go one at a time through here.
I need at least 15 seconds to answer each question so it gives me enough time to type it into Google.
Yeah, we're on the honor system with Google here.
So we get a pen and paper.
Yeah, if you hear me typing, don't worry.
All right. So your first question, Chris, is this. Television, 1 point. What Disney Channel series launched Miley Cyrus to fame?
Well, that would be Hannah Montana.
I'm hoping that's on the easier side. These are easy.
That was pretty
here.
easy.
We'll start with. This is a pretty easy one too, Larry, for you. Hannah Montana. The other thing, though, you think about it, I mean, she was pretty famous to begin with, being Billy Ray Cyrus's daughter. I mean, that's...
No, I got the answer correct.
Yes.
Move on.
In Bewitched, what part of Samantha's body does she twitch when practicing magic?
Good thing I just watched the movie Bewitched.
With Will Ferrell.
But luckily I knew this originally because I watched the reruns. It was her nose.
Their nose. That's a strange movie.
I got it for free as like a free because I did combine something with Voodoo and everything. I'm like, you know what? Let me just give this a whirl. I gave it a whirl. That was about it.
There's a reason why they gave it to you for free.
That's an interesting movie to get free. Well, you can't ask for your money back. That's
true.
Exactly.
Something. All right, Anthony, for you, in every episode of Seinfeld, there is an image or a reference to a particular superhero in every episode of Seinfeld. Which superhero is that?
I never, ever watched Seinfeld. So, of course, you would throw a Seinfeld question at me.
Yeah, you may have a couple Seinfeld questions on you. Oh, boy.
Why would I get the Seinfeld question?
I knew
I'm
Chris
just gonna say,
was like a Seinfeld nut, so oh, boy.
Can you just give me the Friends questions, please? I
actually left out the Friends questions, but
how dare you?
If you want to do some,
that's
in the pharmacology topic.
Babu.
I'm already calling this game as fixed. But meanwhile, I'll just say Superman and call it a day.
It is Superman. You are right. Your guess. Yeah.
Meanwhile, good guess.
All right, Chris. What TV series showed the first interracial kiss on American network television?
That would be Star Trek.
That's right. Do you remember the characters?
Kirk and Uhura.
Is that double points?
It
No,
should
it's
be.
not double points.
Supposedly, it was not scripted as Kirk's kiss, and William Shatner said, if anyone gets to kiss Nichelle Nichols, it's going to be me.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh,
I can see him doing that, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's kind of rehabbed his image right now. He used to be sort of the curmudgeon-y, cheap old man that was a bad actor, and now he's the beloved William Shatner, right? And I don't know he's a genius, whatever he did, but
yeah. Well, he's also like, what, 90-something? So they want to be
he's
nice to him
90-something,
right now.
yep.
Yes.
I met him when he was curmudgery.
You told me that. That's a great story.
Oh, well.
Larry's got tons of those stories.
I think that should be
Larry.
an episode someday. Just all the con
Larry's,
stories.
yeah, things people Larry has met at cons.
Which pseudo celebrities has he killed?
2 inadvertently.
Name the first primetime animated TV series, Larry.
Flintstones.
That's right.
Oh,
Nice.
That's right. It wasn't the Jetsons. It was the Flintstones. Jetsons came after. Okay, Anthony, in Seinfeld. No, I'm joking. What is the name? Yeah. What is the name of Michael Knight's car on Knight Rider?
Kit.
That's right. Do you remember what it stands for? Because I had to look this up.
Oh, I know it. I know what it stands for.
No, I don't remember that.
No?
I just remember Kit.
Chris, do you know?
No, I don't know this either.
Night Industry 2000.
Nice.
Wow.
Right, Chris,
nice.
I did give you a Seinfeld question, but I felt like this was a hard Seinfeld question because I did not know the answer to this myself.
All right, I'm ready.
Which of the main four Seinfeld characters was in the army?
Ooh.
Wow.
I actually think I know this.
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure, but I'm going to guess that it was Kramer.
Your guess is right. He was in the army, honorable discharge, but he won't talk about the reasons.
All right.
I can think of one or two.
Yeah. Season 9, episode 14. He was mentioned his army training. Okay, Larry. What is the name of the MASH theme song?
And I just listened to your episode, too.
Yeah, I know. A couple of these are easier if you've listened to our episode.
No, I know, so I meant to talk to you about MASH because that was not really watched in our household. My father being a proud veteran, he wasn't crazy about it. I just noticed na 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 na, but I don't know. All right,
it has
theme
lyrics.
from MASH.
That's correct. That is the correct answer.
Theme from
it.
MASH.
It has lyrics, and it's Chris. Do you know this one?
I do.
Yeah. Suicide is
do
painless.
I get points? Yes.
No, you don't.
Well,
We don't. Yeah, we can't
right.
do that. Suicide is
Wait,
painless. It's actually a really
okay.
depressing song.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's fitting, though, when you think about it.
For that show, yeah.
All right, Anthony, a reality TV question.
Oh, yeah.
This is an easy one, though. In what reality TV show are contestants eliminated in the tribal council?
Oh, well, that would be Survivor.
That would be Survivor. Yeah, the OG of reality shows, I guess.
Yeah,
That and the Real World.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And actually,
Okay.
I keep seeing commercials for the Survivor finale, so it's still going.
Oh yeah.
Is it the series finale or just the season finale that they do
Probably
it
season.
round?
Season finale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't watched that show since like season 1, and I didn't even watch it then. So
No, never. I never watched it. I was always an Amazing Race guy.
Ant actually tried to get me to join him on The Amazing Race.
That is true.
No, for real. For real. I'm like, Ant, I will die doing The Amazing Race.
that show does. It's pretty crazy. I watched a little
Which was
bit.
all the more.
I was going to say that was half of the reason why I asked you.
Ratings.
So we're about to step. This is the last TV round of questions. We're about to get harder. I think they get significantly harder in movies. But Chris, Sci-Fi's television show Farscape was co-produced by 2 major family entertainment companies. Can you name one of them?
Oh, I never watched Farscape. So now I'm going to go major family entertainment company. I'm shot in the dark. Nickelodeon?
It was co-produced by the Jim Henson Company and Hallmark Entertainment.
I was wrong. All right.
Farscape is
That means I've slipped in the rankings.
that you have, yeah. And Farscape, I never liked it, but a lot of people really liked it.
A lot of
So
people love Farscape,
I actually
yeah.
wasn't sure where you came down on it.
I've never seen it. Just one
I've
of those
never
things.
seen it either.
I've seen commercials.
All right. I did not like it. It was in the early days of Sci-Fi, one of their first scripted television series. Okay, Larry, what TV show's catchphrase involved a character saying, "Kiss my grits"?
Oh man.
Can I steal it? I want to steal
shush,
it.
Shush. Kiss my grits. I know the character. Alice?
You're right, correct. The show is Alice. That's a good one, Larry. It's a good pull.
Yep.
It's a good pull.
Now, what is her name?
Flo.
There you go.
Wait, was the question the name of the show or the name of the character?
The name of the show?
Oh,
You got
okay,
that right,
okay.
Alice. Yes, yep.
No,
The
that
name
was
of the
just
television
that was
show.
just me throwing you a question.
I thought Dolly Parton was in that show.
Oh wow.
She is not. I did
no,
not.
she's not.
It's kind of like one of those things where with the
But
Mandela
Flo,
effect,
you know,
you just.
Yep. Did you know the actress who played Flo actually had a role in a very well-known Christmas movie? She was in Gremlins. She was the old woman.
Oh,
Yeah. Yes.
Did she say kiss my grits in Gremlins?
She did not say "kiss my grits," but she was the one
more
that
memorable.
that got raced up the motorized staircase and thrown out the window.
all right. And then the last in the TV round is to you, Anthony. Carol Burnett's show had a spin-off starring Vicki Lawrence as the main character. What is the name of this show?
Oh, that would be Mama's Family, wouldn't it?
Right.
I loved Mama's Family.
So did I.
I never even watched. I didn't even know it was a spinoff until like years later.
I know.
Really? Yeah,
I didn't
it's a
realize, 'cause I
spin-off
never
of
watched
the
Carol
Burnett
Burnett.
show.
I never.
Carol-
Yeah.
I loved Carol Burnett show, but I didn't watch it until I was like an adult. Mama's Family I used to watch as a kid.
Me too.
Yeah. All right, so we're going into the next round. The next round is movies.
Is anyone keeping track of score?
I was just about
Oh,
to
I
ask
am.
that.
I'm keeping track
Okay,
of
good.
scores.
All right,
Yes.
so
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. No.
Didn't know if we were
What?
responsible
Larry, I
for
thought that
anything.
was your job. You agreed to... No,
If you listen to
I'm
our
keeping track of the
podcast,
scores.
I don't do anything.
Larry count? Not possible.
I got a nice little Excel. All these are stored in there. I'm just counting them up. All right. What, Chris, this is to you. What was the first PG-13 film released to theaters? This is a tricky question. Released to
Yeah,
theaters.
that is a tricky question. Oh, man.
I'm not looking forward to my question.
Released.
I swear I used to know this.
I could tell you the film that caused it all day long, but the release, well, I'm taking a pass. I have no idea what that would be.
December of
I failed.
1984, Red Dawn was the
Really?
first
Okay.
release.
Wow.
Well,
The Flamingo Kid was actually given the PG-13 rating earlier, but it was released later. than Red Dawn. So, but the first one released was Red Dawn. Of course, the Indiana Jones and really is the one who caused all this by making PG too cool.
That was a good question. I did not know that one.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? And you think about like when we were in the 80s and in the 70s, and you could get away with a lot of stuff in a PG movie.
How many
now
F-bombs
you have
have been in
cigarettes
PG?
in it.
Well, I mean, it still blows my mind that Poltergeist was PG. I mean, that was a scary movie.
Yeah, Poltergeist. Gremlins was PG.
Gremlin, yeah. A lot of PG movies.
All right, Larry, the next movie question to you. In Back to the Future, what year does Marty McFly travel back to?
Ooh, come on now. 1955.
That is right. Good one.
Dad.
Not easy because it's specific.
You gave Larry an easy question. That was a softball question.
I think that was softball. It's very specific. Easy to remember the decade. I don't know. He can rattle off the date, the full date, Larry. What is the full date?
I swear to you, I'm trying to think of it in my head. I want to say November 5th, 1955, but it's definitely November.
That is correct.
All right.
Because Doc, November 5th, 1955. The day I invented time travel. I'll tell you my story when I made a fool of myself in front of Christopher Lloyd. That's for another show.
Oh,
We'll hold you to that.
Yes, I definitely want to hear about that. Shatner, Lloyd.
There's a list.
All right.
He's got a long list.
Okay, Anthony, next one is to you. Who plays the villainous Max Schreck in Batman Returns?
That would be Christopher Walken.
That's right. Not that hard, other than a lot of people forget that he was even in Batman Returns.
I know. It is one of those random things where it's like, wait, he was in that? Yep.
My question is, why are you so vicious to your own podcast partner with his PG-13 question?
Yeah,
you're lobbing softballs at us.
So here's the thing. I know what Chris knows, so I had to be a little bit harder, right? Like, I couldn't
That's fair.
willingly give him a softball.
Fair enough.
Plus, let's make it clear. If Chris wins this contest on your own podcast,
It's suspicious.
True. It does stink. All right, here's another one, Chris. Man, this was really hard. I actually regret typing this one in.
All right.
Who is the author of the novel Forrest Gump? It's movie related.
Oh, gosh.
Wow. Chris, you owe him money or something? What?
Wow, Dave's just dropping coal in your stocking.
This is rough. I thought this was going to be fun. Let's see. Gosh. I've seen the book.
Hang on, I know the answer.
I've never read it, and I'm not, I don't know, Johnny Smith. That's wrong.
Winston Groom.
Of course.
And he also wrote
Winston,
historical fiction around the Civil War.
which we've all read many times.
Well, yeah.
I read it every Christmas to children.
Well, that's punishment, because I think Forrest Gump's pretty terrible. All right, Larry, this was to you. What comedian played the killer in Christopher Nolan's Insomnia?
Okay. Now, this is a movie I've not seen, but if I'm remembering the movie correctly, I want to say Robin Williams.
That is correct, Robin Williams.
Yep.
And he was always the best comedian doing the dramatic turn, too.
He was one of the best, and the first I remember doing that, going from that comedy to drama like that. I don't know if Jim Carrey really nailed it as well as he did, but yeah, he was good.
Yeah,
it's a movie I do want to see. Yeah,
I don't know. I'm a big fan of Jim Carrey in the serious roles.
Oh, Jim Carrey in Man on the Moon, the Andy Kaufman movie, is the best thing I think Jim Carrey's ever done. I love that movie, and I love his performance.
He was amazing in Man on the Moon, but
performance.
Yeah, Eternal Sunshine is my favorite.
Yeah,
it's also a really good one too. But I like Andy Kaufman, right? So I feel a certain sadness for him. So it's like
me too.
Your heart breaks for him.
That's fair.
Exactly.
That is fair.
Like, I just started discovering Andy Kaufman like before they even announced that movie, and then when I saw the movie, and I was like, oh, well, we could have talked about it during our pre-internet episode, and trying to find Andy Kaufman stuff, then watching the movie. Then of course having the wrestling in it that brought me to it as well. But the Andy Kaufman, I think Andy Kaufman was a genius, and yeah, I thought that movie was phenomenal. I still got to see the. I'm sorry, I'm totally off railing the show. I never saw the Jim Carrey documentary when he was making that movie.
Yeah. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never saw that either.
He
It's
went
really
it's
interesting.
deep. What do they call that
He-
when
method.
yes.
He went
Yeah.
method.
Yeah.
Method,
Yeah, full
yep.
method. Hmm.
Man, it's a good documentary. It's worth watching. All right, next one, Anthony's to you. What was
Uh-oh.
the first color film to win the Best Picture Academy Award?
Well, I guess it would count. I would probably say The Wizard of Oz.
Gone with the Wind,
Oh, that predated it.
1939.
I always said Wizard of Oz.
I would have
Yeah.
too.
I would have
Yep.
probably said Wizard of Oz too, which is when I was researching, I was like, oh, that's a pretty good one. That's a tough one.
Actually, I always said Wizard of Oz because I could have sworn Gone with the Wind was in black and white.
I knew Gone with the Wind was in color. I thought it was later.
Well, I thought later, like they colorized, like Turner had all his money.
Oh, you thought they colorized it?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
See, no, I always knew it was in color. I just thought Wizard of Oz was earlier.
Yeah, good guess.
I did too.
Okay, Chris, this is maybe more of a softball one for you, but you have told me you struggled with this, so I thought it would be funny to throw it in. In The Godfather 3, who plays New York City crime boss Joey Zaza?
Oh man.
What he meant was he's going to hit you in the head with the softball.
Yes.
That's what he meant by it.
Oh, the third one, the one I've seen like 1.5 times.
And we talked about how hard it is to remember who this actor is.
Well, I'm at least confirming what we talked about before. I have no idea. And as soon as you tell me, I'm going to know what it is. but
You are going to
I'm
have an idea.
about- What is it?
I'll ask you guys this question. This
I have no
individual
idea.
also played Fat Tony in The Simpsons. Do you guys remember the actor who voiced Fat Tony?
Man.
Well, I have never seen The Godfather 3. Actually, I have never seen The Godfather Part 2.
Wow.
I want to say, but I think the name I have in my head, I think that was the guy who played Doc Ock. I want to say like Andrew Molina, but wasn't that Doc Ock?
Yeah.
That's
No,
Doc Ock.
Alfred
Joe
Molina.
Mantegna.
Oh, Joe Mantegna.
Mantegna.
Joe Mantegna. Yep. I really thought you were going to get
man.
that, Chris, after you and I had
No.
talked about. Is it Joe Mantegna? Is it Danny Aiello? Which one? Because they're like the
Right.
same person, but they're
yeah,
not.
yeah.
Yellow.
Wow, now I'm mad at myself. I didn't know Joe Mantegna is
So
Fat
forgettable, I
Tony.
even forget when we talked about it. So, no, I'm ruining Christmas, everyone. I apologize.
No. All right, Larry, this question's for you. This would be
Joe
such an
Mantegna.
easy one for Chris.
Danny
Who
Aiello.
directed The Empire Strikes Back?
Okay, so like I feel like this is a trick question. So because I'm gonna say George Lucas, but I feel like it might not be George Lucas.
It's not George Lucas. No,
I
that's
thought
sort
so.
of the tricky part. Is that
I
if
knew
you
it was-
didn't know, you would say that.
I knew it was a trick question going in, but I honestly, unless it's George Lucas, I don't know who directed.
It's not.
Or
It's
J.J.
Irving
Abrams.
Kirshner,
Oh, I feel like I
and
knew
it was
that.
great because George Lucas didn't direct it.
He didn't touch
No,
it.
really,
I was gonna
I
say
kinda mean that-
that's the reason why it's the best Star Wars movie.
It is. It took his ideas, but it did not take his execution. So it
Yep.
separated
And then George
that.
Lucas said, "This is terrible. I'm doing Return of the Jedi," and the rest is history.
Well, he didn't do Richard
No, I
Marquand.
know.
Richard Marquand.
No, I know.
But he was
That one I know,
Lucas
Dave.
was ghost directing. I knew you knew that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucas's ghost
Well, that's why I
directing
said-
is the rumor, right?
That's why I said he did that one.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, this one's to you, Anthony. Maybe this
Oh,
is
geez.
super easy.
I
But it
quit.
probably is. Who is the villain, local banker, and slumlord in the movie "It's a Wonderful Life"?
Okay, so first I want to ask you why you're throwing all the villain questions at me because I feel
It
targeted.
just worked out that way. You are not a villain.
I am offended. I can also relate to the villains, but I'm still offended.
I feel like I knew
And I will tell you that I absolutely positively do not know the answer to this because I have never seen It's a Wonderful Life.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
wow. It's
neither have I,
Mr.
Ant, don't
Potter.
worry.
Mr. Potter.
Yes.
Mr. Potter. Yeah. Mr.
Yeah,
Potter.
never.
You're a
never
sad,
seen it.
frustrated old man, Mr. Potter.
I will hold to it. Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because I had a roommate. I'm going to tell a short story. I had a roommate back in 2008, 2009, who was so offended by me not seeing this movie that he did everything in his power to force me to watch it. He gave me a copy of it for my birthday. And every time, like when Christmas would come around, he's like, you have to sit down and watch this right now. And I'm like, you know what? I'm never watching this movie. And I still haven't. And I hope he listens to your podcast to know that I still haven't seen it.
Well, we watch it every year, and it's a great Christmas movie for the family.
So I've heard.
And it has a legitimately villainous bad guy, someone who's irredeemable in Mr. Potter. It does kind of interesting, actually.
I'll stick with the Muppet Christmas Carol. Thank you.
That's a good one too. All right, here's one for you, Chris. This is maybe too hard too, boy. The regrets coming through. What famous 80s filmmaker wrote but did not direct National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
John Hughes.
That's right.
Yep. That was
I know
easy.
my John
All
Hughes
right.
trivia.
Larry, there's another one for you. This is about villains. This didn't go to you, Anthony. Maybe I should switch it up.
Hey.
Who played, and you got to name both of these actors,
Oh,
because this is not a hard one. Who played the Wet Bandits in Home Alone?
Oh my God. Because now that you say it, what are their names? I know
We should have had a steal option.
I know. We were trying to come up with the mechanic for that, but it was just so hard over Zoom.
Why can't I think of his name now? I'm going to be honest with you. Not Marv. What, Harry, right? It was Harry and Marv? With the characters?
I don't remember the characters' names. I just remember the actors.
You are correct with the characters'
The two
names, but he
Utes.
wants the act. He wants the actors.
I know.
Actor, yeah.
Why can't the two Utes?
Yeah.
Joe Pesci. All right, Joe Pesci.
Yep.
It's the other guy. I can't remember his name for the life of me. I'm gonna. I don't want to delay the podcast. I don't remember the other guy's name.
Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern. Yeah.
Yes. Stern.
To me, he's the more distinctive of the two, because when I think of Joe Pesci, I think of all the other movies he's been in. But when I think of Daniel Stern, I think of Home Alone.
No,
I
you're
think
right.
of City
you're
Slickers.
Do you really?
City
Okay.
Slickers.
He was good.
That's right. He wasn't City Slickers.
Yeah.
Oh, City Slickers too.
Okay, Anthony, here's another one, a little tough.
Yeah, which
The
villain?
original 1960s Lost in Space was set in
jeez.
what then future year?
Wow.
This is a hard one. This is really hard.
Let's see. It was when did that? It was the 60s. So I'll say like 2001. They went with the Space Odyssey year.
1997. Not bad though.
No.
Not bad.
What? Oh, I was thinking 99.
97
All
is
right.
what the year that they set it in 65 when it came out.
Wow. I wish I was lost in space in 97.
All right, now we're into the retro games
Here we go.
section here.
Uh-oh.
There's some
Flop
easy ones in here. There's
all
a
of
few
these.
harder ones, I think, but there's a couple easy ones.
Larry,
What
if we
is the
get these
name?
wrong, the podcast is over. The
podcast is over.
officially
You
over.
get-
Our podcast is over if we get these wrong.
Chris, this one's for you. What is the name of the damsel in distress in the original Donkey Kong arcade game?
Pauline.
That's right.
Nice.
Larry, for you, who is the original Mega Man series villain? This one's easy.
Oh, Dr. Wiley.
That's right. It's pronounced Wiley, right? All these
Yeah,
years I've been
Wiley.
calling it Wiley, but the spelling
Wiley.
to me just is off.
I know spelling does look weird.
Oh
but
yeah,
it's Wiley,
Wiley.
Anthony, this is for you. Name a pack-in game for the Sega Genesis Model 2 that isn't Sonic the Hedgehog. They had a few different ones.
Oh, the Model 2. The Model 2.
Interesting.
See, I don't know if this carried over from the Model 1, but I'll just go with it and say Altered Beast.
It was not included, but some of the options
Yeah,
that
it was
were
Model 1.
Vector Man and the Sega Genesis Classic 6-in-1.
Oh, the 6-in-1. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they also had a Streets of Rage edition too, or an edition with Streets of Rage.
I would like to thank you for the actual hard question there while you threw
That
down
is
the
a
easy
tough
ones.
one. All right, Chris, here's another one for you. I've got a few Sega Master Systems questions in here because I do love that system.
Okay.
So
All right.
this is where this
geez.
starts.
Larry, we're screwed.
This game is considered the Metroid of the Sega Master System and also featured a gun modeled after the SMS phaser.
Oh, I could see the screenshot. It's not Zaxxon.
The Metro.
It's
Let me look at my collection.
I can see the screenshots play today. I cannot remember the name
It
of
had
that
the
game.
phaser in it. Oh, okay.
it did.
Zillions.
Zillions. Yes.
Yes.
I got it
See,
right here.
Zaxxon. I was even right there in the alphabet.
Do you have Zillions
All
right
right.
there?
I have Zillion.
Larry has it.
It's not a fun
Nice.
game. I tried. It is not fun. The controls are rough. So.
It's a little rough. And I got the sequel too. I got the sequel as well.
Yeah, Zillions
Nice.
2 is worse.
I only have 2 Master System games. And I don't even remember the second one. I know the first one is
I'm not
Ghostbusters.
supposed to say that if we have a podcast about retro video games. You have the entire collection, remember?
So, Larry, here's your question. 3 games were built into the Sega Master System 1 in North America at different times during its system life cycle. There were 2 games sometimes, 1 game sometimes, all 3 on others, depending on what model you got. Can you name 2 of the games that were built in, not included, not pack-ins, but actual built-in?
Looking at your collection. You're looking at your collection.
I am trying to get an idea.
Nope. I call shenanigans.
Wow. I'm not going to say Sonic, but I will say. I want to
It's
say
the Sega Master
Columns?
System.
No, I know Sonic came out on the Master System. I'm trying to think early Master System though. That's the problem. I want to say like a puzzle game. Columns?
You got to name 2.
You gotta name 2.
No, I know, but well, if I got one wrong, I figure.
Yeah,
that's it for
you're
me.
wrong. There was a puzzle game though, Snail. There was a puzzle
Okay.
game, Snail, was built in, and then the most common ones that people know about are Safari and Hang On. And those were also
Hang On.
pack-ins.
Yeah.
Those were pack-ins at one point, and then at one point in the one system series, the System 1 life cycle, they just started putting them
There
on
it
the
is.
chip. Yep.
This is why I was trying to look at the games in.
Yeah, that's
Well,
why.
that's why I called you out. Cheater.
All right, Anthony. What 4th gen NEC console was the successor to the TurboGrafx 16 and PC Engine? What 4th generation NEC console was the successor to the TG16 and PC Engine?
This one's kind of on the nose, I think.
Is it?
Maybe. I don't know why I'm helping you, but
No, I know because I want to say the Turbo Duo, but I don't think it's that. But that's what I'm going to say because
There's a key there. It's 4th gen. So so if you think of, I try not to help too much, but it was an actual generational leap.
Oh, jeez. From NEC?
you
NEC.
might. If I'm thinking what I'm thinking, if it's correct, you might or might not have just bought a mini.
I was just
with
going
it
to say
recently.
I was going to say the only thing I can think of is Neo Geo. That's all I got.
It's the Super Graphics.
Oh, the
Oh,
Super
that's I always
graphics.
forget about that.
I
Why?
forget.
There's only what
games.
6
Yes.
games?
Yeah,
5.
I was going to
Five,
say that one never stays in my head because it's. I think it literally is the system that came out with the least amount of games ever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next to the Virtual Boy.
Shush.
Virtual Boy is second. BB sucks.
All right, Chris. What was the original Atari VCS 2600 pack-in game? The original one.
Combat?
That's right.
Yes.
Wow.
Wasn't too bad.
See, we're getting spanked.
All right, Chris, you
All
can
right,
have my
Larry.
place on my podcast. I'm just gonna.
You're abdicating the role.
I'm done. I'm out.
Larry, what NES game was originally developed by Sunsoft as part of the Terminator franchise, but when the license was lost, Sunsoft just slightly modified it and released it as a standalone game?
Good.
Do you remember the
God.
name of this game?
Well, I don't think it's. Oh, Batman.
Journey to Silius.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God! Yes. I'm an idiot. All right.
I think I learned this from your podcast, and I'm
you
not
probably
joking.
did.
I think that was one I was like, oh, that's a nice one.
I forgot
never
that
knew
was Sunsoft. To be honest, I love that game too.
Anthony, what was the pack-in game with the Virtual Boy?
Yes.
Go away with the Virtual Boy. I don't want to answer.
Figured you'd know. You hate it so much.
You know what? I might know the answer, but I want to protest the question.
And I brought the box over to your house when I
do
had
not
it.
answer questions about. Oh, gee. Is it the stupid Mario Tennis game?
It is. It is the stupid Mario. That's the official answer. The stupid Mario Tennis game.
Literally, I played it for 30 seconds and wanted to throw the Virtual Boy off of
You
my
really
dining
did.
room table.
And I lugged it all the way over to your house too.
Yeah. Oh, because it was so heavy.
Well, it was that big. It was a box. It was a big box of stuff. I had to set it up. It was very. It was not portable.
It was a box of crap. Is
How
what it was.
dare you, sir?
All right, this is the last 3 questions in the retro games section. Chris, what was the original Atari Lynx pack-in game?
California Games?
That's right. I didn't know if you'd know that. I thought that was a tougher one. Getting obscure.
Chris just cruised through the retro game category. I'm ashamed of myself.
Oh, please, you and me? Terrible.
No, you should always be ashamed of yourself.
What is Resident Evil called in Japan?
Thank God.
Nice and easy.
Biohazard.
That's right.
Did I ever pick you up a copy of that? Do you have a copy of Biohazard?
I don't think so. Officially not.
Okay. I have a copy of Biohazard 2, I think, actually, from Japan.
Anthony, your last question. Who developed and published Maniac Mansion, the game, the PC game, the NES game?
Ooh, me. I did. No,
it's you, yes. You worked very hard at 9 on that.
I did, and thank you for throwing me that question. Maniac Mansion is one of my favorite games, and LucasArts did it.
That's right.
They also
that
did the
is
sequel,
also
Day of
one
the
of my
Tentacle.
favorite games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love that game.
Let's see where we're at here. All right, guys. So here's how it came out. Chris had a total of 6 points. Larry and Anthony are tied at 7.
Oh,
wow.
So
man.
very close.
Wow.
I guess I kind of got the I feel like the difficulty level was close.
I feel like Chris should win though, because he swept, I think, his retro game category, and we both just
that's where we
totally
floundered.
ruined it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
So
okay.
many
You
Italian
guys
questions.
Gazillions.
represent well in the final round for me.
All right, so I'll ask you
We
two.
will.
Actually, I'll do one question each worth 2. So whoever gets this one right, of course, if you both get it right, then you tie, and it's just the winner.
Yeah.
But I have a question for the potpourri. This is going to
Here
seem
comes
incredibly
Seinfeld.
unfair. It's both. One is a toy technology question, and then the other one that Anthony got is a history question.
What?
So, Larry, your question is this: what company produced Sega consoles for the Brazilian market long after those consoles had been discontinued across the rest of the world, including the many variants of the Sega Master System throughout the 90s? What Brazilian company is famous for this?
I don't know. Brazilian company.
Yes.
I honestly can't think of the name. I know, like, I can picture the variants in my head, but I forgot the name of the company. I feel like it begins with an H.
It does not. When you hear the name, you'll remember it. Anthony, do you happen to know this answer?
Huevos. No.
Chris, do you know this one?
I don't.
Tectoy. Tectoy is a Brazilian company that made basically Master System minis and built-in systems long before Nintendo had the idea of doing that.
I can see the logo
and early 2000s.
No.
I can now see the logo on the systems. Yeah.
I would like to get some of their stuff just because I think it looks really interesting.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, Anthony, let's see if you know this history question. The assassination of which U.S. president led to the Secret Service including the protection of the United States president in its mandate?
Well, you got what?
Which
3
U.S.
choices?
president's assassination led to the Secret Service? The Secret Service had already been formed, but it had a specific role in terms of law enforcement, right around like currency and things like that. But they added the protection of the president to its mandate after this president's assassination.
Oh. I know there aren't that many options. And
There are 4.
You know what the sad thing
there are
is?
4 options.
I know there are 4, but I'm trying to think of the one that I'm trying to think of. His name isn't coming to me.
Well, there's not 2 of them I can think of.
Yeah.
What?
Nothing.
Was
Hey.
it?
Is that cat answering for you? That's not allowed.
Yeah, the cat's answering for me. Was it McKinley?
It was McKinley, 25.
Oh!
Yes.
Wow.
You won that. Very good.
Good
Yeah,
job.
they added that after that. I actually thought, when I was doing research for this, I was surprised. I'm like, man, why wouldn't they do that after Lincoln? But apparently they were like, well, just one president getting shot. That's probably, it's not going to happen again. No one's
What
going
are
to
the
buy
odds?
it. It's just, that's what are the odds? And And then shoot. Well, then they had
what?
Garfield too. So yeah.
A cavalcade.
Boy.
What's that?
Well, you know what? They went by the you know, everything happens in threes, right? When you get to the third one, that's when things change.
Yeah.
There we go. Time to make a move. Time to adjust how we protect the president.
Well, this went down exactly the way I thought it would.
Congratulations, Anthony.
I have to hear about this now. You guys don't have to deal with this.
That's good, because that'll be my Christmas gift to Larry this year.
Thank you guys for coming and being part of our Christmas.
It was a pleasure.
No,
it was a
this was
pleasure
fun.
being on your show. This was a lot of fun.
This is
Thank you
actually
very much.
truly more fun than what we're going to do on our holiday episode.
Yeah, basically, where we're just going to cry about what we wasted money on.
That's a good Christmas tradition, too.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming. And, well, Chris, I got so wrapped up in the holiday spirit. I think the spirit of Santa Claus had came into the room, and it's terrified me. It was like Poltergeist, the PG film. So, Chris, why don't you tell them where they can find us? And then, Larry, you can, or Anthony, you're really good at giving the spiel. Why don't you tell them they can find you guys?
All right. So you can find us at 2middleagedguys.com. That's 2, the numeral 2, middleagedguys.com. And from there, you can email us. You can get us on our socials. You can do anything you want. Well, that's not true. Not anything you want. But you can do a whole heck of a lot of things at 2middleagedguys.com.
They can do 3 things. Email us, listen to episodes, and read my essays. That's it. This is very limited. I will go and see if GoDaddy, if I can pay them for the do anything you want option, and we can get that plan upgraded.
That's fantastic.
And for the Retro Gamers Podcast, you can find us on Facebook.com/Retro Gamers Podcast, on Instagram at Retro Gamers Podcast, on Twitter at Retro Gamers Pod. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube at Retro Gamers Podcast, or you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com. Do not go to our website.
Thanks, guys. Everybody have a Merry Christmas.
Yes. Happy holidays,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas. Happy New Year.
Christmas.